All right, when solving for a variable in an equation, our goal is to isolate the variable. We want to get on one side of the equal sign and then what it equals on the other side. And then that's how you solve. So one thing to know about equations is it's set up like a scale or a balanced equation. So one side equals the other. If you take something away from one side, then it becomes unbalanced. So when you remove something from one side, you have to remove that same amount from the other. Okay, so how that looks, so we've got a plus 4 equals 15. So now we want to isolate the variable, in this case a. We're going to subtract 4. And so subtracting 4 is going to be the additive inverse of 4. And when you take 4 minus 4, you get 0. And then the identity property of addition just states that anything plus 0 is just itself. So we get a plus 0 equals a. And then here's what I'm talking about. What you do to one side, you must do to the other. So we minus 4 from one side of the equation. We have to minus that from the other side to keep the equation balanced. Okay, so now our last step, we're going to be left with a on the left-hand side of the equal sign. And then we're going to do 15 minus 4, which equals 11. And so there we have solved. A equals 11. And some of you might have been able to look at that and say, what plus 4 gives you 15? Well, that's 11. And with addition and subtraction, these ones are pretty simple, and so that might be something you're able to just see. However, in the assignment and homework, just to get practice of doing the right steps, I want to see that you're doing the additive inverse to both sides to get the variable by itself. All right, so b minus 5 equals 14. Once again, we want to isolate b on its own side. So we're going to add 5. That is, once again, the additive inverse of minus 5 is adding 5. And what we do to one side, we do to the other. So we add 5 to both sides. Now we're left with b equals 14 plus 5, which is 19. And once again, a negative 5 plus 5, that is just going to give you 0. Anything plus or minus 0 is just going to be whatever that was, in this case, b. Okay, next one now, it looks a little different here just because the constant is in front instead of the variable, but that is a positive 4. So once again, we want to isolate c, so to get rid of this positive 4, we're going to minus 4. Okay, once again, that's going to become 0. 0 plus c is just going to give us c. And then c equals 11 minus 4, which is going to give us a positive 7. Once again, we use the additive inverse of plus 4. And what we did to one side, we did to the other. And then simply last step, just solve. So c equals 7. Okay. So now we have a story problem. So Michael bought a new iPhone 11 on a payment plan. After he makes his first payment of $23.50, he still owes $776.49. How much did Michael pay? Oops, that should be how much did Michael pay for the phone? So we set up our equation, our unknown or our changing value. I'm going to put C for cost. So cost of the phone, and he made one payment of $23.50. So we know that the total cost of the phone minus his first payment, and that is going to equal what it says right here. He still owes $776.49. So now we're gonna do the same steps. We've got our one-step equation. We need to isolate c, so we take the additive inverse of the minus 23.50, and so we're going to add that to both sides. On the left-hand side, we're going to be left with c, because a negative 23.5 plus a 23.5 is just going to give us 0. Additive identity, anything plus or minus 0 is just that thing, in this case c. Then on the right-hand side, you have $776.49 plus 23.50 50, so 9 plus 0 is 9, 4 plus 5 is 9, 3 plus 6 is 9, 7 plus 2 is 9, and then we just bring down our 7, and there we now know he paid $799.99 for this phone. And that is solving one-step equations with plus or minus.